here.
Hi, Dave.
Kimberly.
We figured we'd do an update. We haven't done an update in a while from what was going on with me and my health and what we're doing with our traveling and other things like this. So we figured we'd do a video today because I've had quite a few members ask, or subscribers ask, what was going on. So I'm going to be reading out of my notebook here that I wrote down because a lot of stuff's happened since the original vlog on right after I got out of the hospital. But what we've got is I went to after the video, I changed my primary care doctor for the VA from Tampa up to Brooksville, which saves us about an hour and a half each way of driving now, and it's right down the highway from where we live. So I went and visited her, and my wife brought up to her that why we didn't notice until after my wife read all the paperwork from the hospital. They did a full CAT scan on me when they were looking for blood loss or blood leaking from my body internally. She noticed on the report that there was 2 large lumps on my liver, and no doctor or anybody ever told us anything about this.
And meanwhile, we're waiting for the surgery to be approved.
Yeah, because I have to have everything approved through the VA to have surgery done in a private hospital. So anyway, she brought that up to my doctor. My doctor started reading all the paperwork that we gave her from the hospital, and she was very concerned about it. She called the hematology and the VA down in Tampa hospital and made an appointment with him. So we drove down there, met with the doctor. He was the director of oncology and hematology at the hospital. He was very concerned about what he was reading on the paperwork from the hospital and from the doctor that did the colonoscopy. He also read, Kimberly also brought up about
the tumors on the liver.
Tumors on the liver and stuff.
And he has one on his
kidneys. They were small. They weren't large. They were small on my kidneys. So he says, I don't want to do any surgery because they plan on doing surgery. We even met with a surgeon about having the colon taken care of. And for some reason, the VA, they come back and said that the surgeon was not on their list to perform the surgery. And it was like, we couldn't understand what was going on. So the doctor from the hematology there in Tampa VA hospital told us that, well, they don't want to perform surgery right now. I'd like to get a
PET scan
done. Said, okay. I'm all nervous about this, and so it was like...
And this is all the way down in Tampa, yeah, which is an hour and a half from our home base.
So I went down and had the PET scan done, and he says, well, I'll be in touch with you in a day or so. Well, this was on a Friday that I had it done, so we figured out he'll be calling us Monday. We didn't get no phone call Monday, and Tuesday we got a phone call, and it was the doctor, and
the oncologist down in Tampa.
He first thing he said, is your wife there? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, can you put her on speaker? I said, sure. So I put her on speaker, and he goes, well, this is what it is. You've got cancer in your colon, 2 spots, or 2 sections of the colon. You got cancer on your liver of the 2 tumors that were there.
And also a
bunch of small spots but the two tumors lit up.
And the lymph nodes around the liver.
And the lymph nodes around the liver, they all lit up. They really dropped a bomb on us both.
So that's considered colon cancer stage 4.
Right.
Metastasized to the liver and the lymph nodes.
So I told him when I was down in Tampa that I would like to go to. I'd like to have my treatments, chemo treatments done up here, because I know I can't drive when I get the chemo treatments, and it's an hour and a half down and an hour and a half back, plus the 5 hours in between for the treatments. That's a long time to be sitting in a hospital down there, and then you got that hour and a half drive all the way back home. And he says, I truly understand. He goes, let me make a phone call and I'll get back to you.
And also his hemoglobin was still very low. So he was going to have to get iron.
So it was about maybe 15 minutes later, I got a phone call from Florida Cancer Specialist, which is located 3 minutes from us, with Dr. Tang. He's an amazing doctor. He called me. He says, I'd like to, his people said, I want to set up an appointment for you. And it was going to be 2 days later. Or let's see, no, this was
I think it was the next day.
Next day we went over to the appointment. And
this is all back in June.
So I went in there. They took some blood. And they took blood to see what my iron was, my hemoglobin was, and everything else concerned, and for what they call a cancer marker to tell where my the cancer was in my system, what the level of it is. So it's a measurement that the oncologists use to see how well the chemo is going to work.
Yeah, let me jump right in here though. Prior to that, he was he did all that blood work that time at that date when we met them, but also he wanted to get a biopsy of the liver. So we didn't know anything about these numbers or these blood markers or anything like that. So that was the next step, was to get a biopsy of the liver.
So we had to go through, wait for the VA. Their office, I should say, the Florida Cancer Specialist office, the people in there are amazing, truly professionals. They treat you like a human being.
Oh, they're wonderful.
They treat you like your family. They got right on the phone through the VA, got it approved for my biopsy for my liver. So
it took a little while.
Yeah, it took a week, but we got in there. I had to be there at 6 in the morning, and I'm nervous as a J-bug anyway. They put me on. They had to put an IV in me, and they gave me some Valium because my anxiety levels through the roof.
I think they twilighted them too.
Yeah, they twilighted something. But I went in and got the biopsy done, and the next day the doctor called Dr. Tang personally called, said I'd like to see you in my office.
Yeah, he called us in the morning. The office called us because we were heading to the VA for the nutritionist to see what could be done about, diet and stuff, and if there was a better way to eat. But the cancer center said that he could eat anything and to make sure he just eats.
Right. They don't, their thing is if you gain pounds, fine. But if you start losing, then once you start losing, it's hard to put back on. Then it wears your body down real bad. It's
actually crazy to go to a doctor's office and they weigh you and excited that you are still the same weight or even a little bit heavier. It's actually amazing.
I've gained
10 pounds.
About 10 pounds so far, and this is with the chemo treatments and everything.
He doesn't eat very well after the chemo. But let's get back to our appointment.
Back to the appointment, they called, so I had to reschedule my appointment down the VA, which is just down the street from the cancer specialist. I went in and talked to Dr. Tang. He, if you want a doctor that doesn't tell you the truth, or if you want a doctor that tells you the truth, this guy is straight out. He doesn't beat around the bush. He'll tell you exactly what it is. And he's very honest. He'll tell you, this is what we're going to do. We're going to give you everything we can to keep your, what do they call that?
Quality of life.
Quality of life up. And I asked him, I said, well, how about surgery? He says, no surgery.
He said it wouldn't help.
So what am I going to do, die? He goes, everybody dies.
So what Dave has is...
I got stage 4 cancer I got stage 4 colon cancer. The reason they call it stage 4 is because it metastasized into another organ outside of that area.
So there's no cure.
There's no cure. Of course, there's no cure for cancer. They can put you in remission.
Which, that's what we want, is remission, so we can get back on the road and do some traveling. Right. Dave really enjoys that.
So while we were there, this is before I knew, or no, this is right after we had found out that I had colon cancer in my liver. He explained what he was going to do. He did put me in for a blood test before that tells what kind of chemo...
DNA of the blood system.
Yeah, what kind of chemo will work. What kind, instead of spending thousands and thousands of dollars on a chemo that that's not going to work. He has a blood test that tells if this chemo is going to work or what it's going to do. So I said, okay. He goes, if there is a trial system, or a trial comes out for a certain type of chemo, I'll put you in for it. But as long as the chemo's working that, we're going to run you on, we'll probably stay right with that. I said, okay.
So there wasn't any trial at that time that would work with him? There
was no trial at all. So, okay, I decided, yeah, okay. He says, now your iron level's real low. He says, so I want you to get some iron. I said, okay. So we went out. I think that was that day, right?
Yeah, you didn't have your port yet, so...
Or no, I said, no, I can't. I don't want to do any because my hands were so sore because they dug like...
No, you did have your first batch before your port. It went through the IV.
Yeah, but when they went and tore my hands up from the liver biopsy, my hands were so sore I didn't want another IV. And they can't get a blood or a vein in my arms, so I always get it in my hand.
You had it in your blood through an IV, the first batch of iron.
I understand that, but I didn't have it done that day with a doctor. I had it done a few days later, right?
I don't know.
Well, anyway,
I thought we marched right over there.
Anyway, we had a IV infusion or whatever they call it of iron.
Mixed up iron bolts, rusty iron bolts.
Yeah, I always say they got 5-gallon buckets out behind the facility getting rusty for you, so you got iron. But anyway, they give me so anyway, they put an IV in me, and I took the iron. Took about an hour.
They give you steroids. You give him a pack of steroids before he gets the iron, and then you get the iron, and it went in. It fused in about a half an hour.
And you have to sit there for a while so they keep an eye on to make sure you have no reaction to it. So we got that done, and while I was with Dr. Tang, he says I need you to go in and get a port put in. And some of you people that don't know what ports are, they're I'll show you real quick. It's just under the skin of my chest here, and that's where they run the IV and put in there during my treatments. Plus, like right now, I've got a pump on that's pumping chemo into me.
I'll show you that in a little bit.
Yeah, it pumps chemo into my artery, and it goes into my body that way through the blood. So I said, okay, so we went back over to the hospital, and a week later, because they were smart, when they got approval for my liver biopsy, they also got approval for the port to be put in, so I didn't have to wait. I had my port put in on Tuesday, and then Wednesday was my first chemo treatment. Oh, mommy, that hurt when they put the thing into your port. It's I don't know what it's called. It's where your hoses are hooked up to. Yeah, it's like a cath.
If you pull that down a minute. So the port's under here, and it runs up here, and you can actually see it underneath the skin, and then it goes down the big artery there.
Yeah.
So it kind of loops up and goes down into the artery.
But see, I was still sore because I just had it put in the day before, and where they cut me to slide it down into my chest area.
Okay, so it's round underneath there, and then this is the cath on top.
Yeah.
Which isn't there all the time.
No, that comes off once I get my pump off, which I call OB1 as my pump.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Once that's off, then I'm fine. I go swimming, do whatever I want. So I went and had that treatment done, and then I was off for 18 days.
Well, the first treatment, it was done that day. It was 5.5 hours long, and he gets about 8 medications, and then he comes home with the pump. You want to show him the pump? Oh no, you gotta kind of lean up. See, there's the pump down there. Can you guys see it? Yeah.
My pump's in there. Where are you? There's the pump right in here. It's run off a 9-volt battery, and it's preset at the cancer facility, the treatment facility. All
right, so it goes underneath the shirt and up into the port.
I'll wear it for 48 hours, and then I'll go back, and they unhook me. But the first visit, I had to go back a week later, talk to Dr. Tang. He wanted to just check, make sure everything was all right. They also tell you how your blood work, your samples and everything come out. Like I said, they're a family-oriented group over there. They're very professional. So everything worked out great. I felt pretty good. Usually chemo day I sleep a lot. And it don't matter where I'm at. All of a sudden you get tired, you just go to sleep. But the wife and I, after the first one, the emotions were running high, because all the bad thoughts go through your head. You get a lot of professional input from people that have no idea what they're talking about, and it just scares the hell out of you. I was very emotional. I cried a lot. I had a lot of friends on YouTube, family that I consider family.
Thank you.
That we love you so much for all your prayers and everything. This one young family commented on our YouTube page that brought me to tears, that they looked up to us for them getting into traveling full-time in an RV because they seen us at a Walmart up in Liverpool, New York.
And they said it was a sign to start their journey, and we feel so blessed.
Yep. Still sends chills up my spine just thinking, we don't do this to be.
We don't do this to make money. We just do this to share our life.
Our experiences, our travels. Anyway, thank you very much for all the prayers you sent. I had several treatments done, and Dr. Tang said, well, before we do any more treatments, after this, my second treatment or third treatment or fourth, second treatment. After my second treatment, he goes, when you're all done getting unhooked, I want to give you an iron infusion again to bring your iron, up to where it should be. I said, okay, so I went over and I had everything unhooked, and they hooked me up to, first they gave me steroids.
Right, so they gave him steroids, and I'll have to take over on this one because
I don't remember much.
Dave, when the iron hit his veins, he went and looked at me and he says, I'm burning up, please go get them. As soon as I yelled and waved for them, I turned around and he was in an anaphylactic shock. It was so bad. He just started seizuring, and the whole place was there taking care of him. And he was almost stopped breathing. He did the last Stokes breathing, when they're gasping for air in a long draw. I was absolutely hysterical. I just couldn't handle it. Because when we were down at the VA, they had made him sign paperwork because you can lose your life to getting iron infused. So they worked on him at the cancer center over there, and luckily Oak Hill Hospital is right around the corner from us, and they gave him an EpiPen, they gave him Benadryl, and they gave him IV steroids, and it took him for about an hour to come back, and we were still at the center at that time, and his O2 wouldn't come up, and he still wasn't alert yet. And I called his sister that lives near us, and she came over. And that's what he remembers, is when he came to a little bit, she was there. So a lot of things occurred during that incident.
I even peed my pants.
Yeah, and other bodily functions. And it was a very scary time. So needless to say that Dave is allergic to iron.
I'm allergic to
that one brand
mixture.
of iron.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a mixture of iron that they have. They changed their protocol since then from what everybody says there. I mean, everybody, when they see me come in now, they go, oh, make sure you behave today.
Yeah.
I am,
But they did wonderful. They were wonderful. As soon as Dr. Tang was right there taking care of him. I mean, he even got him fluids.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's just amazing center. So, and then he went to the hospital for observation for 4 hours after that. So, thank God his iron is up now, and we don't have to do that. He does take an oral anti-iron in the morning.
Yeah, I take a little tablet every morning.
He's not allergic to that.
But I gotta say everything, you people that say prayers for me, even the good positive thoughts, it works because my marker from when I first went there was 19.5. After 2 weeks, or after 2 treatments, or 3?
2.
2 treatments, it dropped down to 16.5. So it dropped 3. So we know that the chemo's working, and it's working fast and hard.
The marker should be 0 to 0.3.
Right.
And they would like it at 0. So, I mean, he's doing great. So,
it's not an easy road. I try to stay as positive as I can. Sometimes it's hard. I got a real good friend that's dealing with this, not the same thing, but he's dealing with it. And I talk back and forth to him because I know he's sick and I'm sick. I'm fortunate I get mine through an IV. He gets his by pill. So he's a little bit sicker than I am. But every morning I say prayer for him, and I say prayer for myself. I'm awful selfish. I say my own prayer. But I know a lot of people out there that are saying it for me, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So
they just pulled another marker yesterday.
Yep.
And hopefully that'll be down. Dave does his math. He says it's going to be down 3 more points.
I'm hoping 3 more
But the doctor
points.
says it doesn't work that way, but hopefully it's good to be so positive. She loves seeing, this is his physician's assistant that works with Dr. Tang and Amy, and she's just wonderful too. I can ask her any questions because she helps me through it too. I mean, it's just, it's a hard thing to deal with, and it's
hard. I look at her and I see her crying, and Last week we were talking, and I'm glad she got it out because she likes to hold stuff in. She says she's awful mad. I said, why are you mad? She goes, because...
I'm not mad at him. I'm just mad. I was mad because he got sick. I just was, and I have a support group on Facebook that I reached out to, and they said, "Oh, that's normal. That you can just, work through that."
Yeah,
and I did. Just even telling Dave about it and crying, it worked me through that stage because I just felt all day long mad. Not mad at him, not mad at anything in general. I was just mad, and they said it was the process of going through this disease. So we hope to be back on the road soon.
Yeah,
at least do a local trip. Dave has a lot of appointments coming up with the VA. We could use prayers on that. Don't want to go into that too much. One more thing is that we lost our baby girl, my Leia Lou. We had to put her down. She got real sick real fast, and we miss her. And now we're down to one dog. Rudy's special too.
Just a lot of things happen at once, and it's hard on your sleeping. But I've been positive. I'm going to carry my positive attitude the rest of the way. The physician assistant yesterday was all, she says, you make my day when you come in here because, you're so positive and you make me laugh. And of course, that's me. If you don't know me, you should get to know me because I'm a great guy.
Yes. And I want to thank all our new subscribers.
Yes.
The more the merrier. I would love to get up to 1,000 subscribers.
Right. So if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to our channel,
please subscribe. It's very important to us.
And after you're done watching our video with us two great looking people, and this is Rudy. Say hi, Rudy. Oh, Dad, I don't talk on TV. Okay. Give us a thumbs up. Hit that like button.
Look at the camera.
There you go. They'll think, oh my God, what's that cartoon character? But like I said, we're going to get on the road as soon as possible, as soon as I can kick this and put it in remission.
Yep, we are. We're planning, hopefully next.
We're talking spring.
Next spring.
Right.
Yeah, to go up to South Dakota and up there, Yellowstone and stuff. So, and we might be traveling in something new. We don't know. Keep watching, because when we start looking, we're
looking now, but we're just in the early stages of looking at something a little bit smaller than this big coach that we got. It's a lot of work with this big coach, and because I like to do everything maintenance-wise myself, but it's going to be too hard on me to do that anymore, and I can't afford the big bucks to have it done at a station.
Yeah, so we're looking into something maybe a little smaller, and and go from there, and keep watching to see what we get next. Yeah. So, thanks for watching.
Make sure you subscribe like I asked.
Yep.
Give us a big thumbs up.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. Say hi. If you're rich, you can send me millions if you'd like. We have a PayPal whatever down here somewhere. If you can see my finger down here somewhere. It's in the description. It's in the description. I'm sorry. See, I don't know. She's the producer, general manager.
Yeah, I just hired him, right?
She just hired me as a...
I told me he had to do more filming.
I'm the wife support manager now, so... but... Thank you again for all your prayers, and we'll catch you on the road.
Yes, catch you on the road.
Bye!
Thank you for watching.
Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already.
Make sure you leave a comment.
Yeah, leave your comment.
And thumbs up.
Yeah, and give us a big thumbs up.
And share with your friends and family.
Right. And we'll catch you on the road.
Yes, catch you on the road.
Catch you on the road.
Catch you on the road.
Yeah, catch you on the road.